الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا وعزيزنا وكريمنا ورحيمنا ونبينا وسندنا محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وأنصاره وأزواجه وعلينا معهم أما بعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ we are at ayah number 126, surah number 2. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا بلدا آمنا وارزق أهله من الثمرات. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he says, O Allah, first they spoke about Fazilat Bani. They spoke about the virtues of the constructor. Then after that they speak about the virtue of the city, then the virtue of the construction itself he speaks about, which is the Kaaba. So he says first, Fadilat of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا قَالَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ أَحْدَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Ayah number 124. Ayah number 125, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks on the Kaaba. Why on the Kaaba? Is because after speaking about the virtues of the constructor, he's speaking on the virtues of the construction, and then the virtue of the city, and then back to the virtue of the one who made the city, and the one who were involved in it, and then the connection to the Muslims, and then from there the mistakes that the Muslims have made. So Ibrahim alayhi salam says, Rabbi ja'al hadha baladan amina. Oh my Allah, make this town a safe town, which shows that one of the greatest qualities any city can have is safety. If there is safety in a city, then that city is prosperous and you're able to accomplish things in that city. If that city isn't safe, I was just looking at a video that happened maybe yesterday or the day before. Hamtramck. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Hamtramck, Michigan. Anyone's been there? Hamtramck? Hamtramck is a predominantly Muslim populated area. A very strong Bangladeshi community there, especially from Biryani Bazar. For those who know Biryani Bazar. Not Biryani Bazar. But maybe that's why Biryani Bazar is called Biryani Bazar, because of biryani. It's called Biryani Bazar. The ra is missing. My favorite thing is missing. So that means there's some important elements missing from there too. Hamtramck. So in Hamtramck, what happened was that yesterday there was a video of a brother in a topi and mashallah a beard. He was at a gas station and he was going to open his car door. And just to let you know, Hamtramck is one of the only cities in America where adhan is given on the loudspeakers by the mayor, because there's so many Muslims there. One of my friends actually told me a story. He said one time he walked out of his area and he was going somewhere, and the adhan went off. And there was a person who was not Muslim who got out of his home and he listened to the adhan and he said, man, they're playing that song again. So in a city where adhan is echoed and there's madrasas and masajid all over, in that city there's no safety, because it's a historically very crime populated city. So there was a video yesterday, a man went to get gas, and as he was getting inside the car, they held him at gunpoint. But Ajib, this man fought back. Two people he fought back, one of them had a gun, and they ran away. At the end of the day, if you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't fear anybody else. And if you don't fear Allah, you fear everyone else. That's the reality. So his first dua he says is, oh my Allah, make this town a safe town. وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Now, this town, this city, what was the quality? What kind of city was it? What was the climate of the city? Of Makkah. What was the climate of Makkah? Dry. What else? Hot. What else? What is it called? What is that kind of area called? A desert. Does anything grow in a desert? That's why there's no such thing as dates from Makkah. People come and they say, mashallah, there are dates from Makkah. I say, what do you mean dates from Makkah? Nothing grows in Makkah. You can have imported dates in Makkah, but you can't have dates from Makkah. Not from the actual haram areas, because obviously nothing grows there. It's a desert. So, is it possible for fruits to grow in a desert? ones? No, okay. The general fruits can't grow in Makkah. So Ibrahim alayhi salam technically asked for the impossible. He asked for fruits in a land that doesn't bear fruits. He didn't say, oh Allah, make fruits come from this land. He said, Allah, give these people fruits. وَارْزُقْهُمْ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Now out of all the things, all the du'as he did, he could have asked any dua, but he asked two du'as. The dua of safety. Because if there is safe passage, people will go and people will populate. If there isn't safe passage, then people won't populate an area. The second thing was, and for those who don't know, Hajj was a very perilous journey till about 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It was very common for someone to go for Hajj and not make it back. That's why this culture of doing a Hajj at the end of your life actually stemmed from there, was because most people didn't make it back after Hajj. It would take 6 months to go for Hajj, do Hajj, and then come back, and then the journey there would be many bandits and village robbers. King Faisal, Shah Faisal, the son of Abdul Aziz, the one who started the present-day Saudi government, 1932. He was the father, Abdul Aziz. After him, his children remained the kings. Until today, his children are the kings. He had close to 99 kids. And there's about almost 10 of them still alive today. And just to give you an idea, he was the king in 1932. And from him, afterwards, all the way till now, it's all only been his children. So for almost 80 years, his children have ruled, and there's about 10 of them still alive. Walid bin Talal, that you hear about all the time, the famous Prince Walid bin Talal, his father Talal is actually older than the present-day King Salman. So in line of ascension, he should have been given predominance, but he wanted to turn a more diplomatic country, a democratic country, so that's why he was abdicated from his position. Out of Abdul Aziz's children, after Abdul Aziz died, then I believe Saud became Khalid or Saud became the kings, and then after them became Shah Faisal. He was, I think, the third one. He had abdicated Saud, and then he had taken position, Shah Faisal. Shah Faisal was the one that had made the proclamation that it is forbidden to touch a Haji. And in the lands of Hijaz, he was the one that if any Haji complained that a person had robbed and looted them, he had extreme measures. He would go there and he would find the culprit. And if in the village nobody stood up and said, we were the ones who robbed the Haji, he would burn the whole village down. I read this in a book 13, 14 years ago, and that was his approach to establish stability. Right or wrong, Allah knows best. I'm giving you a historical account. وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Then he does dua, oh Allah, give the people there of fruits and vegetation. Why? He's asking for the impossible in a land where nothing grows. Why? In another ayah, Ibrahim alayhi salam says, "Inni askantu fi wadin ghayra dhi zar'in." I put my children and family in an area, in a valley, ghayra dhi zar'in, where there is no crops, nothing is growing in this area. And then he says, وَارْزُقْهُمْ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Oh Allah, give them fruits. Why? He's asking for the impossible to teach us all a lesson. That land, you can make dua for the impossible and Allah will make it possible as long as you have the heart to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why the haram and the haramain and hajj, these are very vital and important things. Today, when we think about cruises and we think about going places, we never think about hajj and umrah. Whereas a person should go to hajj and umrah as much as they can. Yes, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam only did one hajj and 4 umrahs in his life. Yes, we understand that. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot do more. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam only did it once, because his life didn't exist afterwards. And in the first year, it was in the political climate for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do the hajj. He did the second hajj of Islam. The first hajj of Islam was done by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. The second hajj was done by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he passed away about 80 days after. وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ مَنْ آمَنَ مِنْهُمْ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. Bless those who have believed in Allah and in the final day. قَالَ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَأُمَتِّعُهُ قَلِيلًا ثُمَّ أَضْطَرُّهُ إِلَىٰ عَذَابِ النَّارِ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرِ. Whosoever does kufr and disbelief, I will give them some time. فَأُمَتِّعُهُ قَلِيلًا. I will give them some time. ثُمَّ أَضْطَرُّهُ إِلَىٰ عَذَابِ النَّارِ. Then I will drag them to the fire of Jahannam. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرِ. It's a terrible place to go. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. And when Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam raised the foundation of the house, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا. This is a dua. This is a dua Ibrahimi. The du'as of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam. In the Arabic language, taqabbal is a very unique word. Taqabbal. Taqabbal Allahu minna wa minkum. You hear it all the time. Taqabbal is a very unique word. In the Arabic language, there's one word for qubul. Qabiltuha. You hear this in nikah. Qabiltuha wa nakahtuha wa zawwajtuha. Qabiltu. Qabiltu means I've accepted. Qubul hai. Taqabbal means, you know when a child brings you a picture of a drawing that they made and they come and they tell you to take it? How bad is that drawing? It's terrible. But then what do? Wow, it's so pretty, it's so beautiful, it's so this, it's so that. When you see someone else's dress at a dawat, you come in, her dress had one dhaga sticking out, one thread sticking out, and the hijab was a little like this and that, and you'll critique the one who dressed up completely for the wedding. But then when it comes to this child and it comes with their picture of colors here, colors there, you don't know what it is. And he says, Baba, what is this? And then the kid's like, oh, Mom, it's the universe. And you're like, oh, I guess it is the universe. And they're like, MashaAllah, and you congratulate that kid. This is in Urdu, it's called Ba Takalluf Qubul Karna. Meaning that you didn't want to accept it, but you forced yourself to accept it. It wasn't deserving of being accepted. It wasn't worthy. It was nothing. It was terrible. But out of love and shafqa, because the child is so unable and not able to do anything, doesn't have the skill and doesn't know how to draw a picture, but you are a person, neither do you need that child's drawing, neither do you need anything from that child. That child giving you anything is shafqa and muhabbat, and you appreciate it, even though you have better pictures and better calligraphy, and you can do it better, and you have more, and you have access to better. But still you will accept it out of love and muhabbat, not because you need it or even because you want it, but because for that child's heart you will accept it. The same way after doing the ibadah, we say, Ya Allah. Ibrahim a.s. after building the Kaaba, he said, Allah, our Kaaba wasn't worthy of being accepted. Our Kaaba wasn't worthy of being presented before you. Our ibadat are not worthy of being before you, O Allah. We know how broken our ibadat are. Our namaz, our mind is somewhere else. Our salah, our mind is somewhere else. While reading Quran, we're checking our phones over and over again. Allah, our ibadat don't deserve to be accepted. Taqabbal, batakalluf, force it and accept it, Ya Allah. Force it and accept it even though it doesn't deserve to be accepted. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. You are the one who listens and you are the one who knows. You listen to all of our efforts and you know all of our efforts. رَبَّنَا وَاجْعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِنَا أُمَّةً مُسْلِمَةً لَكَ. Oh my Allah, make us both Muslims. Over here, Muslims submitted to you. Make us submissive to you. لَكَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي أُمَّةً مُسْلِمَةً لَكَ. And make our children and progeny a submissive nation to you. This teaches us do dua constantly for hidayah. Ask Allah for hidayah. The Prophet ﷺ said, جَدِّدُوا إِيمَانَكُمْ. Renew your iman. Update your iman. The Sahaba said, كيف نجدد إيماننا يا رسول الله? How do you update your iman? How do you renew your iman? How do you keep your iman fresh? The Prophet ﷺ said, say La ilaha illallah over and over and over again, and the love of it will enter your heart. A person who is always talking about money, 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 the love of money is in their heart. A person who's always talking about sports, 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 the love of sports is in their heart. Now someone is sitting next to them, they're their wife or they're their family or they're their friend, and this person is always talking about sports or a certain topic. Now you have no interest in it, but as time goes on, you also become interested in it. And what do people say? I was never into it, but he got me hooked onto it. She got me hooked onto it. They got me into this thing. This shows us that what people talk about, it enters our heart. What people around us speak about, it enters our heart. So what is the dua he's doing? Oh my Allah, make us submissive. This is a dua that Muslims should always make. Allah, make us submissive and make our children submissive. Allow us to do the actions. Give us the tawfiq to do them. وَأَرِنَا مَنَاسِكَنَا وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا. And show us manasikana, nusuk, the ways of Hajj and Umrah. وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا. And forgive us. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. At-Ta'ib is the one who forgives. At-Ta'ib is the one who seeks forgiveness. Tawwab is the one who forgives every single thing and every single one. Ar-Rahim. Not only does He accept the tawbah, but He is the most compassionate one who accepts people's apologies. The world won't accept your apologies. The world won't listen, but Allah will always listen. After Ibrahim alayhi salam did dua for the Kaaba, he does dua for his children. Now when he speaks about Muslimain, who is going to be the Nabi of the Muslims? This is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which materialized into Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The dua was what? رَبَّنَا وَبَعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ. Oh my Allah, send upon them Rasulan, a messenger. What is the difference between a Rasul and a Nabi? Number one, a Nabi is the one who is a generic prophet. A Rasul is the one who has been given scriptures. Number two, a Nabi is the one who has not waged a war. A Rasul is the one who has waged a war. Number three, a Nabi is the one who brings in new Sharia. And Rasul is the one. The Nabi is the one who takes on the old Sharia, and Rasul is the one who takes on a new Sharia. Number four, a Nabi is the one who is supportive of a Rasul, of a messenger. He is there as a support mechanism. And number five, Nabi and Rasul are interchangeable. Number six, interchangeable, meaning that Nabi and Rasul can be used in each other's place. Number six, there's a hadith of Abu Dharr Ghifari radiallahu anhu, that he asked the Prophet ﷺ how many Anbiya are there. He said there's over 124,000. He said, how many of them are Rasul? He said 313 are Rasul. رَبَّنَا وَبَعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ. The first quality, minhum. Make it amongst them is because people are culturally attracted to people of their backgrounds or their cultures. They have a natural inclination to them, especially back in the day where people were so divided into their own cultures and their own groups. Nowadays it's more different. People don't notice it as much, but still it is noticed. رَبَّنَا وَبَعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ. The first job of the Prophet is يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ, reciting the Quran, to teach people how to do tilawah of the Quran and read the Quran. Number two, وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ. Not only make them hafid where they know the Arabic of the Quran, but make them understand the meaning of it too. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ. Teach them the kitab, teach it to them. وَالْحِكْمَةِ. Now, the kitab is in its place, but when do I apply the kitab? When do I say what hukum, at what time? This requires hikmah, this requires wisdom. Teach them hikmah as well. Now you're standing at a nikah dawat, and at a nikah dawat you're sitting there and someone says, Maulana, please say some few words. And the Maulana starts off, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala Rasulihil Kareem, amma ba'd, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. This is a nikah. What do you mean, kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut? I was actually at a wedding where the person was talking about talaq in the wedding. Wallahi. It was very strange. And, some hikmat, right? And the interesting thing was that he was like, the girls was on the girl's side, the guy was on the guy's side, the girl's wali was there to represent the girl, and he was like, I need to talk to the girl myself to know that she really gave permission. We said, okay. So he went, got the girl's permission, came back, and then he spoke about 20 minutes about, no, the reason I do this is because a lot of women are forced to get married. They don't want to get married to the guy that they're supposed to get married to, and they have these elaborate functions, and divorces happen, this and that, in a wedding. And everyone is just like, what's going on? So that's why hikmah, to know what to say. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. And number four, the important thing of the Prophet ﷺ was tazkiyah, to purify their inner selves. There's over 70 diseases of the heart. The Prophet ﷺ showed us how to remove these diseases of the heart. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. Aziz is someone honorable or someone mighty as well. Aziz, Allah's name Aziz, the one who is mighty. Hakim, wise. وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. No one abstains away, no one turns away from Ibrahim alayhi salam's way, but the one who has completely debased themselves and the one who are without intellect. وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا. And we have chosen him in the dunya. The word Mustafa comes from this Arabic word, istafayna. وَإِنَّهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ لَمِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And in the hereafter, he is from the righteous. وَإِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلَمْ وَإِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, submit. And his response was, oh my Allah, I have submitted to the Lord of the universe. After talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam's life and his du'as, then they talk about Ibrahim alayhi salam's wasiyah. A wasiyah is given at the end of your life. Each person, regardless of age, should have their will written. Each person, regardless of your age, should have your will written on how your will should be executed. Out of your will, 33%, 1/3 you can will to anyone and you can give to any organization or any individual. 2/3 are demarcated for your own inheritors. There's a particular set of laws of who inherits, who doesn't inherit, and these 60% they inherit through there. Now you cannot decide how much your son will inherit or your daughter will inherit. That is already decided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no choice for that. Out of the rules in the Quran, one of the most detailed, if not the most detailed rulings are the rulings of inheritance, and they are mentioned in the Quran in all capacity. يُوصِيكُمُ اللَّهُ فِي أَوْلَادِكُمْ لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنثَيَيْنِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the different aspects, and I believe it's in Surah Baqarah as well. Surah Nisa? It's in 2 places. So now over here, the wasiyah you should do. Now, out of the 30% you own that you can do wasiyah of, you cannot do wasiyah of this to anyone who's supposed to inherit from you, unless the other inheritors give the ijazah. So let's say your son is supposed to get 20%. Now you want to give them 40%. You need ijazah from the other inheritors as well in order to will more to that person. Also, if you become terminally ill, cancer or something that's a terminal illness, your wasiyah doesn't count anymore. Any wasiyah that you do has to be given before your terminal illness. In your terminal illness, any money, you're not allowed to give away any money. When you are in your terminal illness, people have this, oh, at that time I'll give away this and sadaqah, this and that. You're not allowed to. In your terminal illness, now that money has ceased from your control, and it is only as a need basis. Only a need basis. The rest of the haqq is of the inheritors. What used to happen back in the day was when people would become terminally ill, if they got in a fight with their wife or their family or someone, right before they die, they give away their money. So now that person who's supposed to inherit from them doesn't inherit. And after the demise of that individual, they're left on the streets begging. So Islam implemented the concept that from maradul maut, when you're in your terminal illness, you cannot will any longer. Why? Because now it is the huquq of the waratha. You should have done these things when you were right. The Prophet ﷺ said the best wealth a person gives is anta sahihun shahihun, that you are healthy and you are desiring more money and you want to live a better life, and at that time the one who gives off is the best charity. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Always do dua that, Ya Allah, give me death as a Muslim. أَمْ كُنْتُمْ شُهَدَاءَ إِذْ حَضَرَ يَعْقُوبَ الْمَوْتِ. Now remember over here, first he spoke about Ibrahim alayhi salam, then he spoke about Ibrahim alayhi salam's progeny, then he spoke about wasiyah to Yaqub, and then the wasiyah of Yaqub to his children. So 2 generations of wasiyah. Ibrahim is called Ibrahim because of Abul Rahim. Ismail is called Ismail because it means Ismail. What does Il mean? I told you before. Allah. Ismail means listen, O Allah, because Ismail was born to who? Hajara, because of the dua she made, oh Allah, give us a child. Ibrahim a.s. did dua for a child, so Allah gave him the child Ismail. And then Ishaq was afterwards. Though Sarah also asked for a dua, Hajara got a child first. Ishaq comes from the Arabic word idhaq, fadahikat. When the news of the destruction of Qawm came, fadahikat, she smiled and she laughed. So her child's glad tidings was given to her at the same time. Ishaq, and he was called Ilhaq, mean from the word of smiling, the one who smiles. And when the glad tidings of Ishaq alayhi salam was given, at the same time, glad tidings of a grandchild Yaqub was given at the same time. That you will have Ishaq, and then after him, wa Yaqub nafila, and you will have Yaqub after him. Now, according to the Muslims, which child was supposed to get slaughtered? What about the Christians and the Yahud? Ishaq. They believe, you know the Dome of the Rock? The golden? All Arabic terms. Arabic, wait, their names were Ibrani and their names were in Hebrew, Aramaic, their names were of a different dialect. So a lot of the names in the Quran are not the actual names of the individual. For example, Fir'aun, his name wasn't Fir'aun. Fir'aun is a title, but he's called Fir'aun. So when Ishaq ﷺ was born, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave glad tidings of Yaqub ﷺ. So the Christians and the Jews, they say that the Dome of the Rock, and for those who don't know, that whole area is Masjid al-Aqsa. Not just one masjid. There's 5 masjids there. There's Masjid al-Aqsa Jadid, the newer Masjid al-Aqsa. Then underground, there's a Masjid al-Aqsa built by the jinns called Masjid al-Aqsa Qadim. Then there's Masjid al-Buraq, where the Prophet ﷺ tied his buraq. And then there is Qubbatul Sakhra, the dome of the rock where the Prophet ascended to the heavens and the Prophet's footprint is there. And number 5, Idafatu Abd al-Malik bin Marwan, the extension of Abd al-Malik bin Marwan, which was used as a stable in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. So that whole compound is the haram, not just one masjid. Anyway, the Yahud, they pray towards Jidar al-Buka, the wailing wall. They pray towards this wall, but they don't pray to the wall. They believe that is the last standing aspect of the original structure of Sulaiman alayhi salam. They pray a little tilted. They pray towards the Qubbat al-Sakhra. That is their qibla. The qibla of the Yahud is the Qubbat al-Sakhra. They're not praying to the wall. If you look closely, they're a little slanted to the left side. They're praying to the Dome of the Rock. Because they believe that that's where Ishaq alayhi salam was brought to get slaughtered. However, there is a fallacy in here. And maybe one of you can pull out this verse and bring it. After Ismail alayhi salam, they believe Ishaq was older than Ismail, and we believe the opposite. However, the fact is that Yaqub alayhi salam was given in glad tidings to Ishaq alayhi salam. So if Allah told him that this child is going to have a grandson, Ibrahim alayhi salam knows this child can't die before that happens. That whole progeny has to come. So it doesn't make sense. When people say that, there's a lot of evidences. One of the strongest evidences is that Yaqub alayhi salam was told at the same time as Ishaq alayhi salam was told. A grandson and a son at the same time. So how can the son be sacrificed if the grandson is going to come? It doesn't make sense. Yaqub is called Yaqub from the Arabic word aqiba ya'qabu, which means right after. Because after the glad tidings of Ishaq, the glad tidings of Yaqub were given. أَمْ كُنْتُمْ شُهَدَاءَ إِذْ حَضَرَ يَعْقُوبَ الْمَوْتِ. When Yaqub alayhi salam had maut, when death approached him, إِذْ قَالَ لِبَنِيهِ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِنْ بَعْدِي. He asked his children, what will you worship after me? This is a Nabi asking his children, who the children's father is a Nabi, grandfather is a Nabi, great-grandfather is a Nabi, 4 generations of Nabuwa is in them, yet the father is still worried about the iman of his children. قالوا نعبد إلهك وإله آبائك إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق إلها واحدا ونحن له مسلمون. Yaqub alayhi salam, they said, oh our father, we will worship your Allah and the Allah of our forefathers Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, one Allah, and we are submissive to him. Now Yaqub alayhi salam, many of us are worried, after my death, what will happen to my children? Let me secure a 401k, let me secure some life insurance and life this and that. What will happen to my children after I die? But seldom do we ask the question, what will happen to my children after they die? We seldom ask the question, what will happen after they die? And that is what the Anbiya were focused on. When Yaqub alayhi salam met Yusuf alayhi salam in his palace, it is mentioned in the Hajj of Jalalain that Yaqub alayhi salam, Yusuf alayhi salam could speak 70 languages, and he was a master of 70 languages at that time. Yusuf alayhi salam. However, Yusuf alayhi salam told his father Yaqub, he said, my father, there is a problem, I have an objection to you. He said, what's your objection? He said, Dad, you're a Nabi, and I'm dunya. And you cried over me so much that you lost your eyesight. You should have had sabr. It isn't befitting a Nabi to cry so much that you lose your eyesight. normal person. I'm dunya. In the akhirah we'll be back. You know what Yaqub alayhi salam said? He said, my son, you were young when you left my tarbiyah and suhbah. I never got a chance to complete your tarbiyah and suhbah. And I was scared that you left into this world without complete tarbiyah and suhbah. The fitnas are many. You may fall into fitna, lose your iman, and forget the dunya. I would even lose you in the akhirah. And the fear of losing you in the akhirah made me cry until I could see no more. Allah subhanahu will be guiding all along. When you are connected to Allah and you do good tarbiyah of your children, Allah will be there for your children. You know what do you call? I have an opportunity of sitting with a lot of youngsters across the globe. Though there are many youngsters who make mistakes and who slip up, there's also many youngsters who I look at and they inspire me. Their wudu and their namaz and their ibadah and their akhlaq and their character and how they carry themselves. Many youth inspire me. There's both aspects. It's easy to take your child's cell phone away, but you haven't taught him anything. All you've taught him is that in front of you he can't make the mistake, but behind you he can. Teach your children discipline and the hikmah and the wisdom of what they do and why they do it. One thing is to force them to pray. They'll pray in front of you, behind you they'll never pray. One thing is to teach them the value of prayer and that everything can happen if you become a musalli. And success is here. It's the hikmah and the wisdom of teaching. Anyhow. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. That is a nation that has passed, and for them is what they have earned, and for you is what you have earned. You won't be asked about what they did, meaning their actions are not your concern. Worry about yourself. وقالوا كونوا هودا أو نصارى تهتدوا. They said become Yahud or Nasara and you will be guided. قل بل ملة إبراهيم حنيفا. Tell them that the path of Ibrahim ﷺ is not Hanafi. Hanifa here means it is monotheistic. That's what Hanifa means. People will come and say, look, Ibrahim ﷺ is Hanafi. Imam Hanifa was born in 80 Hijri after the Prophet. How is he Hanafi? And someone said, وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيم. Ibrahim ﷺ is Shia. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيم. Shia over there means group. And from their group is Ibrahim. Not that from the Shia there is Ibrahim. Why was any other Nabi Shia? Why only Ibrahim? وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And we are not from those who do shirk. قُولُوا آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ وَالْأَسْبَاطِ. Say, we believe in Allah and that what was revealed upon us and that what was revealed on Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq and Yaqub wal-Asbat and their children. وَمَا أُوتِيَ مُوسَى وَعِيسَى وَمَا أُوتِيَ النَّبِيُّونَ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ لَا نُفَرِّقُ بَيْنَ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. And whatever is revealed to Musa and Isa and to the Nabis before from their Allah, we don't differentiate between the Anbiya. We are submissive. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. We are submissive. We submit ourselves to them. فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. Allah says, if they believe, if the mushrikeen and the kuffar believe, بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ, the level of the iman of the Sahaba, the way the Sahaba brought iman, فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. They will have hidayah. What does this show? The mizan and the mi'yar and the scale of iman was the Sahaba's iman. Allah is telling you the iman of the Sahaba is the bar. فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. If you believe like they believed, who is they? The Sahaba radhiyallahu alayhim ajma'in. That shows us until you don't know about the Sahaba and the lives of the Sahaba, your Iman will not have kamal in it. Your Iman will not have completion, because they are the ones who were the first to follow the suhbah of the Prophet and the way of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is why it is important for us to know the Sahaba. There is a tahreek, there is a movement where people vilify Sahaba, wal-'iyadu billah. They vilify Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, they vilify Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha, they vilify Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, wal-'iyadu billah. None of the Sahaba, as-sahab kulluhum adul. Remember the principle of hadith, every Sahabi is honest, no Sahabi is a liar. Al-ashab kulluhum adul. When you look at the chain of narration of ahadith, you critique each individual, but when you get to the Sahabi's name, no one says this Sahabi was a liar, this one was... No, never in the science of hadith. The rule is, al-ashab kulluhum adul. Every one of them is honest and just and righteous. Not one of them is irrighteous or irregular. Yes, they can make mistakes. Sahaba have committed sins and made mistakes. Some of them committed zina, some of them drank, some of them did this or that. But lying and deception is what the Sahaba didn't do. That wasn't a quality of the Sahaba, lying and deception. وَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَإِنَّمَا هُمْ فِي شِقَاقٍ. If they turn away, then that's because they're antagonistic and they're stubborn. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah is enough for them. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And Allah is listening and Allah is knowing. This ayah, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. What famous incident happened with this ayah? Does anyone know? Which is it? Yes. Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, when he was being martyred at the age of 82, 83 years old. He was sitting down, he was fasting. The night before, Rasulullah said, Uthman, fast tomorrow. Your iftar will be with us in Jannah. Tomorrow, Uthman, fast, because we will do iftar together. So the man has nothing to worry about, 83 years old, sitting there, and he was reading Quran. And when he came to the ayah, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah will be soon enough for them. That is when they stabbed him and they killed him. First his wife put her hands before to block the blow of the sword, and her fingers were chopped off. And then Uthman was stabbed and dragged out of his home. Well, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate the status of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu. He was martyred and he was made shaheed. And his blood fell on this ayah, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. And the Quran of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu is currently in, where? In Jannah? In Turkey, in Istanbul. It's in, what's the museum called? Does anyone know? Topkapi. And Allah knows best how authentic. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ عَابِدُونَ. Back in the day, even till now, the Christians, what do they do to their children? They baptize. In those days, they had some certain yellowish color. They would yellow their child and they would put a certain color. And they would say that our child has been colored in Christianity or colored. Now he can never become another religion. We have stamped this child and we have colored in this. So some of the Muslims also said, we want some color too. Everyone is doing holy, let us do some holy too. Everyone else is doing some Christmas, let us also wear some Christmas attire and this and that. What does Allah say? Sibghat Allah. Color of Allah is different. It's transparent. It's your akhlaq. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ صِبْغَةً. Which color is better than the color of Allah? And how do you get the color of Allah? وَنَحْنُ لَهُ عَابِدُونَ. Worship Allah, that is the color of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your ibadah is the sibgha and is the color. قُلْ أَتُحَاجُّونَنَا فِي اللَّهِ وَهُوَ رَبُّنَا وَرَبُّكُمْ. Say to them, do you debate and do you argue with us in our Allah, and He is our Allah and He is your Allah. وَلَنَا أَعْمَالُنَا وَلَكُمْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ. We have our a'mal and you have your a'mal. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُخْلِصُونَ. And we are faithful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أم تقولون إن إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط كانوا هودا أو نصارى? Do you say that Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub and their children were Yahud or Nasara? قل أأنتم أعلم أم الله? Who knows more, you or Allah? ومن أظلم ممن كتم شهادة عنده من الله? And who is more oppressive and worse than the one who hides witnesses and who conceals testimonies in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the testimony of the Torah and the Injil that spoke about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam being the last Nabi. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah is not unaware of what you are doing. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. They are a nation that have passed, and for them is what they have done, and for you is what you have done, and you won't be asked about the people of the past. First, just finally, how long did it take us? 6 days? 4 days? How many days? 6 days now? We started Wednesday? Inshallah, we'll speed up from now. You're okay with the speed? It's good? We'll continue this after Ramadan, inshallah. Continue until where we can continue it. Till the 26th of Ramadan, we will continue this. Because 27th is a Jum'ah. The 28th, I'm not in town. And then 29th is 29th. 29th, everyone has to do a welcome party for Shaitan. That's what Chand Raat is. Welcome party. You have to get all Shaitan ke liye. You have to get them all excited. Everything we do in Ramadan, we ruin it on Eid. But yes, please. Insha'Allah, bi'idhnillah, we do hope so. We do hope so. Last year when I taught tafsir, I taught it for 50 days. And I only had Fridays off. 7 weeks I didn't take a day off. Even Fridays I had dars in the evening and other programs in Jum'ahs. I didn't take a day off in 7 weeks. 2 months. Yeah. And the one day I took a day off, I went to Houston. And in Houston, in less than 24 hours, I spoke at 7 places. From Bear Creek to Champions to Hamza I went to River Oaks to Maryam. All of 7 places in one evening. Allah barik fiik. It's just try to utilize ourselves as much as we can for the khidmat of the deen. Jum'ah, it's tough to have class on Jum'ah. So maybe after this weekend, inshallah, we'll do classes on the weekend as well, inshallah. I'll talk to the Nafis Hainda and see how we can sort this out. Because Saturday Sunday school goes on. Taqwa and that, so there's no space here. From where? Batula? From Butara? Batul is the name and the nickname of Fatima al-Zahra. Batul. No, I've never heard of this. Allah knows best. Look into this, inshallah. Just send me the name of the person, and then inshallah we'll look into it. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها. Soon the stupid people, the silly people will say, ما ولاهم, what has turned them away from the qibla that they used to pray. قل لله المشرق والمغرب يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. For Allah is the Mashriq and the Maghrib. He guides whomever He wills to the right path. The Qibla used to be Baytul Muqaddas. Baytul Muqaddas is pronounced in 2 ways. Baytul Maqdis and Baytul Muqaddas. Both are okay. Now, That used to be the Qibla. While the Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca, he used to pray towards the Kaaba in a way that the Kaaba and Al-Aqsa was in one line. Because the Kaaba is cubed, so you can pray in any direction. So he would pick a direction which he would get the Kaaba and Aqsa together. That was in Mecca. But when he moved to Medina, he can't do that because Medina is on the way to Aqsa, it's north. Mecca is south. So now you can either face Aqsa or you can face Mecca. You can't do both. So the Prophet of Allah ﷺ used to constantly look up for wahi and hope that Allah changes the Qibla to Kaaba. And the Qibla remained to Masjid al-Aqsa in Medina for 17 months. The hadith of Bukhari is for 17 months since the Prophet arrived. Now, after Dhuhr Salah, the Sahaba knew that the Qibla, the Prophet ﷺ is anxiously hoping that the Qibla is changed. After Dhuhr Salah, the Prophet ﷺ made an announcement and he said, the Salah Qibla has changed to Aqsa, to Kaaba. So this Sahabi went to another village to pray Asr Salah, or the Prophet ﷺ had prayed Asr, and then this Sahabi went into another town and he went to pray Asr Salah there. And when he entered the masjid, or it says he prayed Dhuhr and then it happened in Asr, the riwayat is different. He comes and he sees people praying still towards Aqsa, and he makes an announcement. And he says, قَدْ حَوَّلَتِ الْقِبْلَةِ, the Qibla has changed. So the Imam, what he did was, everyone is praying this way. The Imam went behind people. Remember, speech and everything was okay at this time. He came all the way to the back end, and then everyone turned around. Everyone turned around in the street. So this was, it wasn't the whole community went around. Everyone is turned in the street. Last one became the first one, the first one became the last one. The Prophet ﷺ never did this in a salah. He never prayed a salah towards two qiblas. This masjid the story that you hear that I just told you about is the story of Masjid Qiblatain. It's the story of Masjid Qiblatain in Medina. People commonly mistakenly say that the Prophet ﷺ did this, while in the most of the riwayat, it doesn't come about the Prophet ﷺ. The hadith of Bukhari explicitly says that another individual went and it was another Imam that did it. Not the Prophet ﷺ, no. Otherwise, we would be praying two Qiblas in Masjid al-Nabawi. In Masjid al-Qiblatain, obviously on the opposite side is Masjid al-Aqsa's direction, so they have a marking. So some people go inside and they pray towards both Qiblas. Can you pray nafil towards anywhere? Or do you need to follow the Qibla for nafil? Not for nafil salah. Fard salah requires Qibla. Nafil salah does not require you to even stand and pray. If you sit and pray, the Prophet ﷺ said you get half the reward if you sit and pray nafil. Number two, nafil prayer does not require qibla. So you can technically pray in a plane, and you can pray in your car. Just don't pray while you're driving. Now, what is the evidence of this? Again, there are plethora of ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he used to pray nawafil on his camel or his horse while it would be going in whatever direction it was going and it wouldn't be in the qibla direction. This doesn't mean that you're in the masjid and you're praying towards the wrong direction. Don't cause fitna. As Mufti Wasim said, this is our new qibla now, this corner. We're going to start praying there. No fitna. This is in your car, in your thing, and if you get into an argument with your husband, just say Allahu Akbar. In the car. That is it. Or you don't want to answer a question? Allahu Akbar. And he's stuck now. He has nothing to do. Just don't say that with the GPS in your hand. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها. What turned them from the qibla that they used to have? قل لله المشرق والمغرب. For Allah is the east and the west. يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. Allah guides whomever He wants to the right path. Mashriq is called Mashriq from Shuruq, from Sharaqa, where the light breaks. The east is where the sun breaks, the dawn, and the day starts. Maghrib is from Ghurub, where the sun sets. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. And we have made you a moderate nation so that you may be a witness upon the people. وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. On the day of judgment, Allah will say to the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, O Anbiya, He will say to the other ummats, that has your Nabi sent you the message? And the people will say, our Nabi didn't give us any message. Allah will ask the Anbiya, O Anbiya, did you take my message? And the Anbiya will say, Oh Allah, we have taken your message faithfully. And Allah will say, who is your witness? And they will say, Allah, we don't have a witness, but ask Ummati Muhammadi. You told Ummati Muhammadi about us, and Ummati Muhammadi will stand up. لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. And we will stand up and we will say, Allah, Musa alayhi salam gave his message. We heard it in the Quran. And Shu'aib alayhi salam did it. And Lut alayhi salam did it. And Isa alayhi salam did it. And Nuh alayhi salam did it. And this Nabi and that Nabi and before them and after them. Oh my Allah, we heard it in the Quran and we bear witness. And Allah will say, how do you know it really came from me? وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. The Prophet of Allah will say, oh my Allah, I will be the witness for them on the day of judgment. I bear witness, Allah, that you told me about these things. Oh Ummati Muhammadi, value who you are. Value yourself. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الْقِبْلَةَ الَّتِي كُنْتَ عَلَيْهَا. Why did we do this qibla? But we only did it because of one reason. إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعُ الرَّسُولَ مِمَّنْ يَنْقَلِبُ عَلَىٰ عَقِبَيْهِ. We wanted to make sure, are you a Muslim because the Prophet of Allah is accommodating the Kaaba? Or are you a Muslim because he's accommodating Aqsa? And Aqsa used to be their qibla, the Ahlul Kitab's qibla, and Kaaba was the qibla for the Mushrikeen. So are you just believing for the moment? Is this boy getting married to this girl and becoming Muslim only for the marriage? Or is it because of the... I have to put this do not disturb thing on. Otherwise all these calls are... बहुत मशहूर होता जा रहा हूँ, मैं खुद से दूर होता जा रहा हूँ, सुना है कि अब कोई ठोकर लगेगी, बहुत मगरूर होता जा रहा हूँ. There is no benefit in fame. जब जीते तो थालियां, जब हारे तो गालियां. That's the reality of this world. Not fard prayer. Nothing. Find somewhere to stop and pray the salah. While traveling. In the Hanafi madhab, you cannot do jama' of salawat. However, you can do jama' suri, not jama' haqiqi. There are two ways of combining prayers. One is called jama' suri, that it seems like you're combining, but you're not really combining, which is praying dhuhr in its last time and asr in its earliest time, maghrib in its last time, isha in its earliest time. So all the ahadith of jama', the ahnaf say the Prophet ﷺ didn't really do jama', he prayed one at its end and the other before. Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah and the other a'immah, they say that you can pray dhuhr in asr's time and asr in dhuhr's time and maghrib in isha's time and isha in maghrib's time, but there are conditions for that. It's not that you can just skip your salah or miss it. Oh, I missed my dhuhr, so now I'm praying dhuhr and asr together. It doesn't work like that. There's conditions. Number two, this is not even awla by Imam Shafi'i, meaning that Imam Shafi'i doesn't encourage this. This is only in a need basis. Today, mashallah, our conventions, everyone is there for the sake of Allah, but we have to combine our prayer. I've never understood this. At the Islamic conventions, when you are there to do ibadah and pray, we have to combine our prayers. And everyone does it so excitingly, like as if it's a new power-up or something. You know, they just got a new power-up of we can combine prayers, so we're going to do. Like, why can you not come back a half an hour later and pray salah? Oh no, but the lecture is going on. What's the purpose of the lecture if not to tell you to pray? If the salah is the more important, if we don't teach people that when salah comes, break the lecture, stop the lecture, salah is better than anything else. But what are we teaching people? It's okay, listen, that's more important than salah. We'll change salah time for listening. Can you repeat that again? In the masjid? That's okay. The reason is because in the masjid, one person's actions don't subjugate on another individual. So for example, if I'm giving a lecture here, it doesn't mean that everyone must listen to my lecture. Now if someone wants to read Quran or someone wants to pray the nafil, they're more than welcome to. The adab is to listen. That's the adab. But it's not the hukm. And the example of this is that in the Prophet ﷺ's khutbahs, there are examples where people prayed nawafil while the Prophet was speaking in his Jum'ah khutbah. Though it is not encouraged, and those incidences have explanations and all of those things, but I do encourage all my students to do one thing, that when you come here, pray your tahiyyat al-masjid. Pray your tahiyyat al-masjid, pray 2 rakats, read a little Quran, come a little early to class. The adab is that the student should be in the class before the teacher, not the other way around. Should be there before, doing your ibadah, doing your dhikr, doing your tasbih. At the end of the day, this is all a means. This isn't the purpose. You're not here just to listen to me, you're here to change your life. You're here to bring those things into your life that you didn't do before. If at the end of this class you walk out and you know the whole tafsir of the Quran, I haven't benefited at all, neither you have benefited. But if you walk out of this class and now you pray tahajjud and you're always in wudu and you do dhikr and you pray tahiyyat al-masjid and you do your sunnahs and nawafil and your akhlaq have become better, this class was successful. This class isn't successful on how many people are watching online or how many are sitting. No. The success of the class is if we change our lives. That's the asl. Ilm is just a means. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الْقِبْلَةَ الَّتِي كُنْتَ عَلَيْهَا إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ مَنْ يَتَّبِعُ الرَّسُولَ مِمَّنْ يَنْقَلِبُ عَلَى عَقِبَيْهِ وَإِنْ كَانَتْ لَكَبِيرَةً إِلَّا عَلَى الَّذِينَ هَدَى اللَّهُ. This was difficult, but for those who believe in Allah. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ يُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ. What about those before us who prayed towards Masjid al-Aqsa? Is their salah not accepted anymore? What happens to their salah? They never pray towards the Kaaba. What does Allah say? وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ. Allah will not waste your iman. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِالنَّاسِ لَرَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Ra'uf, Allah is compassionate and merciful. Allah also calls the Prophet Ra'uf as well in another part of the Quran. What does this teach us? That there are some qualities of Allah that humans can also have, and there are some qualities that are explicit for Allah. Now, for example, you and I can listen. Can Allah listen? Allah can hear as well. You can hear as well. Now, my hearing is not like Allah's hearing. Allah's hearing is beyond my understanding of how He hears. But the quality of hearing and hearing we share. Now, how that quality is a huge difference. I'll give you an example. Have anyone ever flown Emirates or something here? Umrah, Saudi? Have you ever had them make biryani? Serve biryani? Or ever go to Makkah, Medina and have biryani there? That's not real biryani. What that is colorful rice with some meat inside and a little bit of seasoning. Now there's a big difference between the biryani that is made in Hyderabad, Dhakkan, Dam ki biryani. There's a very big difference made by Nawabs. बहुत ही हैदराबाद तो हमारे दिल के अंदर है. So their biryani compared to one of our microwavable biryani that you get from like Shan or something over here. Are they the same? Huge difference between the two. Same way Allah's qualities are on a different level. You cannot even imagine. And the qualities of our are microwavable qualities. We have those small pre-packaged qualities. How many ayats are in Surah Al-Baqarah? 286. What's half of 286? 143. What does Allah talk about in this ayah? Being a moderate nation. What ayah number is this? 143. When Allah tells you you are moderate, Allah chooses the ayah that is the moderate ayah in the whole surah. It's in the middle of the surah. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. O Muhammad, we have seen you turn your head towards the heavens. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبَلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. Allahu Akbar. Allah says, O Muhammad, I will change you to the qibla tardaha, that you are happy with. Imagine the love Allah has for the Prophet, that, oh Muhammad, what you like? What do you like? Yes. The iman over here is talking about the salah of the people before who prayed towards Masjid al-Aqsa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I will not waste their salah. Their salah and whatever they've done is accepted and it is fine. Now the rules are different. So you don't have to go back and say, well, they didn't pray towards the Kaaba. Another tafsir of this as well is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not waste the efforts of anyone. For example, Sumayya radiallahu anha, she is the first what? Shaheed. How much of Islam did she see? Did she pray, salah? Did she fast? Give zakat? Do hajj? She did nothing. Did she see all of the actions of the Prophet ﷺ, Badr, Uhud, any of these things? But she still considered Sahabi and a perfect Muslim. This shows even though you haven't completed the journey, when you are part of the journey and you die, being part of the journey, Allah gives you reward as if you are in the whole journey altogether. What does this mean? If you can't become a scholar, study, and die on this path of studying, and Allah will raise you amongst the ulama. Allah will raise you amongst them. That is it. Be on the journey and Allah will accept. Allah will complete the journey. But don't detach yourself. I tell people all the time, there is no kamal in being a scholar. There are many ayats and ahadith that speak about the bad scholars and the scholars who are corrupt. But you know one thing, what Allah talks about that has no corruption in it? It's the student of knowledge. All the barakat and ni'mat, most of them come for who? The student of knowledge. It's better to be a student of knowledge than to be a scholar. You're more safe that way. Inshallah, I have to get to it. Inshallah, definitely, inshallah. فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. Turn your face towards Masjid al-Haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentions many limbs of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He talks about the face of the Prophet. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ. It speaks about the chest of the Prophet. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. He speaks about the back of the Prophet. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. He speaks about the hands of the Prophet. يَدُ اللَّهِ فَوْقَ أَيْدِيهِمْ. He speaks about the neck of the Prophet. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ إِلَىٰ عُنُقِكَ. Don't put your hand towards your neck. He speaks about the tongue of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَلَا تُحَرِّكْ لِسَانَكَ لِتَعْجَلَ بِهِ. Like this, Allah speaks about the foot of the Prophet, the chest, the back, the tongue. But limbs of the Prophet Allah talks about in the Quran. This is the love that Allah has for the Prophet. Allama Munawi rahmatullahi alayhi has compiled all the limbs that Allah references of the Prophet in the Quran. وَحَيْثُ مَا كُنْتُمْ فَوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ شَطْرَهُ. Wherever you are, turn towards the Kaaba. There are three qiblas. One qibla is if you are standing before the Kaaba. If you are right in front of the Kaaba, you have to get Aynul Kaaba. You have to be in a direction where you are directly facing the Kaaba. If you are in Makkah, your qibla is the Haram. The masjid, not the Kaaba itself, but the masjid. The masjid encompasses the Kaaba. You have to face in the direction of the masjid. It's very hard to pinpoint the Kaaba, but the masjid is the easier direction. If you are outside of Makkah, your qibla is Makkah, the city, the town itself. You don't have to look for the exact Kaaba and kind of measure your degrees and stuff. No, it's in that direction. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ لَيَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا يَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the people who have the kitab, they know this is haqq from their Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not ghafil of what you are doing. وَلَئِنْ أَتَيْتَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ بِكُلِّ آيَةٍ مَا تَبِعُوا قِبْلَتَكَ. If you were to bring them every single sign and every evidence, they would not follow your qibla. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِتَابِعٍ قِبْلَتَهُمْ. And you will not follow their qibla as well, and they will not follow your qibla. وَمَا بَعْضُهُمْ بِتَابِعٍ قِبْلَةَ بَعْضٍ. And even amongst themselves, the Christians don't have unity, neither do the Yahud have unity. وَلَئِنِ اتَّبَعْتَ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ. if you were to follow their desires, if you were to follow their ways after you got knowledge, after we know what is haqq and we are still on that path, we are still attracted to that lifestyle, we still want to be like that. Today our daughters want to be bright, they want to wear a white dress. And it has to be dragging, and there has to be a veil. I said, sister, you never wore a veil in your life before. But on your wedding day you want to wear a veil? And that also because of the non-Muslims, not even because of the Muslims. See-through veil. You be proud of your own culture and your own tradition. Be proud of it. Don't be shy and embarrassed. We want to turn everything in that whole concept and style. What does Allah say? وَلَئِنِ اتَّبَعْتَ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ. If you follow those ways after you know, then what? إِنَّكَ إِذًا لَمِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Then you're wrong. Then you're an oppressor. الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ. The ones who have been given kitab. The ones who have been given kitabs. Ahlul Kitab. They know that this is from the Prophet, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more than they even know that this child is my child. So Umar radiallahu anhu asked Abdullah bin Salam, he said, is it true? Did you really know? Did you really know that this Quran and this kitab is from Allah more than your own child?